I spotted them in Kansas City. Well, the van is now empty, and we are at Bliptoberfest. And what better way to debut the paint and the seat than at a show? More to come on this thing. Ain't got no gas in it. Joker a little bit. Well, here it is in all of its glory, the XS400. It's looking amazing. So in this video, what I want to do is talk about the paint and the seat specifically, some of the design cues and why we made the decisions that we did. So let's jump right in. So here it is in all of its glory, as I said, and I couldn't be happier with how this thing turned out. It actually won third place in the foreign category at the Bliptoberfest, and it took first in the People's Choice. So I'm super proud of this thing. I was very blown away that it actually had that award. But let's kind of talk about maybe why people chose that. And I think a lot of it has to come down to just the perfect combination or the blend of all of these colors and how it just makes sense throughout the bike. So on a lot of my builds, I actually pull from the automotive world as far as the colors are concerned. I've used a lot of Porsche colors. And for this bike, I knew that I wanted it to be green from the day I started this build. So when it came time to choose that green, something I had been seeing a lot of around was a lot of Dodges, and they really struck me. So this is actually a Dodge F8 green. This is something you would see on, I don't know when they started making the color, but a lot of your 2022 and up, like Dodge Challengers and Chargers, some of the Jeeps, things like that. It's a beautiful green. It has a nice metallic in it. It has kind of a gold hue to it. And I just wanted to go ahead and give it a shot. So that paired well with the triple bronze powder coated wheels. So you guys saw in the powder coating episode as we did the chassis assembly, I talked a little bit about that. I love a green on bronze look. And as far as the actual paint job is concerned, that is actually kind of Seth's idea. So I wanted something that had my shop colors on it. I haven't done any builds yet with like the yellow, orange, and red hues on there. So this was kind of the first time I wanted to go ahead and give that a shot. And to do that, I had an original idea of doing like, maybe vertical stripes, something like that. But Seth actually came up with this idea of doing a more traditional Yamaha block pattern. So kind of pulling from the Yamaha history books and came up with this. So I just did a basic drawing on paper. And then of course, James, who's painted my bikes, knocked this out of the park. these are all hand taped. So these aren't stencils or anything like that. The dude's a madman and he does fantastic work. So 3 pieces, rear fender, tank, and front fender we have in the F8 green. Of course, we have our colors on the side. And then finally, to pull all of that together, we have this glorious seat. And again, I went back to my guy, Rich Phillips, with this one. He does all of my seats and he always knocks it out of the park. So this might actually be my new favorite seat that he has done. Look at it, it's so awesome. So what I do here is I make my own seat pans and then I take them to him to upholster them. Because I have these people in the industry that I get to work with and have fun with, I have no interest in learning how to do paint or learning how to do upholstery, because the end product that I'm gonna get from my friends and working with people who are also creative it just elevates the entire build. So with this one, I knew I wanted kind of a profile. I mean, I told Rich I wanted a certain profile, but he executed the profile that I had in my head better than I could have imagined. So it's just a stubby little seat. I wanted to try something different. I would consider this maybe more of a brat style bike. I don't know, I don't really care. But if you guys need a term for it, that's kind of what it is. So when it comes time to do the seats, I normally like to do at least 2 different materials. So this one's no exception. We have perforated leather on the sides, and then on top we just have a regular black leather. And I knew I wanted kind of a double stitch seam right here, so Rich knocked that out. We've got actually white stitching throughout, and that kind of pulls the white from the pinstripe on the tank. And he actually offset it over here, which was cool. But the big thing I wanted was actually a splash of color on the seat to pull in the rest of the bike. So I didn't want that to be the only piece of color. So we brought it over here. He had 2 of these materials actually on hand already, but the yellow we had to order like a whole yard of material just to use this little like square inch of it, but that was totally worth it. These match extremely well. Like the rug in the Big Lebowski, it pulls the room together, man. And I couldn't be happier with this. So really neat. If you guys haven't seen, I show how I made the pan in another video. I'll link that below. But these are usually just covered with felt. And going back to the actual release pins on this, that means that I can adjust the height. So I always try to build in enough room for the seats to actually fit on the frame once they have material on them. So yeah, you want to make sure you give plenty of room for material to wrap around, or however your seat maker likes to do this. So yeah, I am beyond pumped with the overall fit and finish of this bike. I think it's very understated. It does have some color pop to it, but I think it's still a very understated build. There's nothing overly flashy about this. Now, beyond the tank and the seat, a lot of the other colors on the bike are also very understated. So I did a mixture of, let's say, gloss and satin black. I have a lot of aluminum color touches on here. So we've got, color contrast on the carburetors. We have a couple brass touches throughout here. The choke lever that Seth made was actually made from a piece of a lamp, which is cool. But yeah, there's actually quite a lot of contrast throughout the bike as far as other color touches. So I like the machined aluminum finish. We have some polish, we have some chrome. There's just a blend, and I try to have multiple pieces of each to make it kind of cohesive. And it's just, I don't know, not to toot my own horn, but I think it's pretty well executed right now. So all that's left to do for this thing is to get it started. Essentially, it is complete, and I am excited to hear this thing run and go take it down the road for the first time. I do have a set of mirrors for this thing. They are just not mounted yet. I do have to make a license plate bracket, which is super easy. I have a certain way I like to do that. And then from there, this thing's done. I am super excited again. I can't wait to ride this thing. So hopefully the next video you guys see on this thing is going to be the first start. And we're gonna see how this cheap little MGO muffler sounds with a 2-in-1 made from the stock exhaust. So it's gonna be an adventure. But yeah, we've entered this stage where you can really see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as completion. So this has been a big one. I've actually started this build over 5 years ago, and it has just been postponed and started again and postponed and started again. And you guys know, you guys have been there from the beginning. So I think now it's gonna be time to start making the full build time-lapse video of this thing. And hopefully we'll have that up before too long. They usually take me a long time to edit, but yeah, this has been a fun one. And I'm just glad that, that we're gonna be seeing it through to the finish line. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the paint and the seat. I know green is not everybody's color on a motorcycle. Some people say it's like bad luck or something, but you know, I think you make your own luck. So until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.